Time it is. It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. And welcome to those listening on Sirius XM. Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, you can join this conversation. And today is Exhale Friday. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is in your heart, you can join the conversation by calling us at 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797, or you can go online and watch us on our live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and put a comment in, and I'll read the comment on the air. And many of you are already putting comments up. X Williams is saying good afternoon from New York. Lady Virgo, good afternoon. Reverend Al Sharpton and the Nan family, God bless you all. So you can put up comments on the screen. I see them, and I'll read the ones I can, and I will take your calls over the air. It is Exhale Friday. On Fridays, we tell you to exhale whatever is on your mind, whatever is in your heart. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And you can be heard nationwide, every state and every region of the country. Well, let me tell you some things that's happened overnight that caught my eye. The job growth was weaker than expected in February, though it was still stable, despite President Donald Trump's efforts to slash the federal workforce. Non-farm payrolls increased by a seasonally adjusted 151,000 jobs on a month, better than the downwardly revised 125,000 in January, but less than the 170,000 that was the consensus forecast from Dow Jones. Blacks are 6% unemployed. Whites are 3.8% unemployed, so we are still almost 2-to-1 unemployed. Hispanics are 5.2 unemployed. So we are just a little more unemployed than Hispanics. And this is in the third month of Donald Trump telling black men he'd be better for them. We are still almost doubly unemployed. And I think that the fact is that if we just look at the data does not lie. If we look at the data will tell the truth. And that's one thing. Second, with this whole Doge thing, with Elon Musk, he's trying to 1 minute say at the state of the, well, it wasn't State of the Union, at the joint session of Congress address, that he's proud of Elon Musk. Then he's now saying that Elon Musk works with the secretaries or the cabinet members, and he alone won't be firing people. I think he's realizing how negative this looks, and how people are outraged that a man does not even, you talk about immigration, he's an immigrant. He's from South Africa. He was raised there during apartheid South Africa. He's been advocating that people that got property there or wealth under apartheid should not have to give up their property, and has Trump saying we'll make them refugees in the United States. And he has called publicly now, this is not me speculating, Elon Musk has called for the president to pardon Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of putting his knee on the neck and causing the death of George Floyd. Elon Musk said pardon him. Now, he won't get out of jail if Trump does pardon him, because he's been convicted of state charges as well. And he can't pardon state charges. But that shows you, and I hope some of you black men out there that said y'all were going with Trump, it shows you what they think of y'all. And I think that it is something we need to exhale on. Lot going on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about there's an investigation on a Louisiana college student's death. They say it was hazing. Others say it is probably some race involved in this, and I know some of my allies are looking into this. And the Senate Democrats are really close to a shutdown. We may end up in a shutdown. They cannot come to a consensus. So we have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on the phones and also reading a lot of your posts on social media. In fact, one of the things, I think it was X Williams caught my eye, that he said, X Williams put on the postings on my live stream page. He says, I am a federal employee of the U.S. Postal Service, and I am disgusted with the government wanting to put an end to 250-year-old agency that delivers packages, checks, certified mail, and bills. X said he is a member. Even medications are being delivered every day. And they want to privatize this. Couldn't have started XL better than that, because he's absolutely right. This is outrageous. And that's why I try to stay on the air every day and do my television show. I've been on Morning Joe's. I was on again this morning. I think it's the third time I made a shout out there. And then my own show over the weekend. And I got an announcement I'm going to make when I make my own shows. But it is absolutely outrageous. X Williams says, I am an African American and a Christian and a woman. All right, just wanted you to know. National Action Network Western region is checking in, putting up on the comments board. So you have no reason not to express yourself, because I'll read it either way. I'll let you talk if you call on the radio line. I'll read it for you in the comments page on our live stream. So let's take a break and let's get going. It's Exhale Friday. Sharpton, I'm here. Where you at? Call me. All right. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Who's that, Tommy?
This 33-year-old preacher without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. He didn't just We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. Work is required. And if we can't stand up now, you got a president in the White House that has said outright, I'm not going to have diversity. Outright said he's not going to deal with the question of racism. Outright said he's suspending anything that guarantees that we're going to deal with the question of racism. In fact, he said they are oppressing white folk. What Trump said. And you are not saying nothing, and you in the pulpit. Well, every prophet in the Bible, everybody in the Bible prophesied and preached according to the time in which they lived. There are no out of place prophets. There are none that God sends to discuss what happened or what's going to happen. He uses them to happen right there. Moses didn't preach about Abraham. He got the strength from the lineage of Abraham to lead the Exodus. What will they say about our story? What will they say about our generation? If when you have blatant racism, you two are afraid to stand up and call the truth out.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
You're live, Rev.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we are back. And let me say by way of announcements, don't forget tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, and we're going to have on members of the Senate and the Congress. Congressman Al Green, who was censored yesterday for standing up to Donald Trump during the speech, he's going to be on my show tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, on MSNBC, see Al Green and see other members of Congress and senators as we deal with the state of the affairs. And I'm going to talk to Al Green, of course, about his censorship. Then Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Politics Nation will be live from Selma, Alabama. And I'm going, as I do every year, march across the bridge in commemoration of that beating John Lewis and Hosea Williams and Ariana Boynton. I don't know why I said Huffington. Amelia Boynton took on that bridge. That got us the Voting Rights Act. And then I'm going to have some of the leaders and some of the foot soldiers on my show live from Selma. Don't forget to watch both tomorrow and on Sunday. Tomorrow, I'm doing a show from New York because I'll be at the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem, and I'll stand do the show from New York, and I'll have Al Green on Saturday, Congressman Al Green. Now, you that are in New York can meet me in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally at 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem. Again, 145th and Lenox. And then you that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television. And of course, the National Action Network's National Convention is April 2nd through the 5th. I've been on the phones, had meetings last night, met with our chairman of the board, Dr. Richardson, and I had a viral meeting with members of all of the black church denominations, all three National Baptist conferences, all the Church of God in Christ bishop was on, Bishop Shear, and others, AME, CME bishops, those that lead different black denominations. If we can get the black church mobilized around issues, we can make mountains move. And it was a great call. They were all listening and supportive. And as we move into the convention, many of them are coming and will support the outcome, because we say we want to there get the report on who we should be holding our dollars back from. So make sure you're at the convention at least one day. It's, again, April 2nd through the 5th. And among the people we're going to have there is Stacey Abrams is going to do a plenary session with me on the future of the country and how we deal with voting rights. Ben Crump, the Attorney General of Black America, will be there doing criminal justice panel. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be there dealing with the black church and the black academia. And Tatiana Ali will be there. You know her from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She'll be there at women's lunch. And it goes on and on. It's free. All you have to do is go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call right now the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. All right, let's go right to the phones. Let me start on the James Brown used to say, get on the good foot. Let me start on the good foot with my dear friend, the beloved Miss Eunice in Chicago. Miss Eunice.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, Rev, it's time to get in good trouble, as our deceased Representative John Lewis said. And I applaud Representative Green, Prime Minister Trudeau, and Zelensky. And you know, Reverend, the thing that's so troubling is that a filthy rich man, Musk, can call the shots for the president. He was not elected to anything. And I'm wondering, can anything be done constitution-wise?
I think, I don't know if it's constitutional-wise, but I think there are some that have began looking. I won't say they have. They began looking on the laws of whether or not they could challenge it in the courts. And I do not know. I know we will have that as part of National Action Network's convention, but I'm hoping we can move before that. And I'm going to ask some of the members of Congress that's on my shows this week because they could make a constitutional claim if there's one there. I don't understand how someone that was not elected to a post and was not vetted by the Senate or the House and is doing business with the government. You got to remember his SpaceX gets billions of dollars from the government. How he could be in charge of who gets hired and fired in the federal government. I've never heard of anything like this.
Yeah, it boggles your mind. And the elected officials were sitting there like bobblehead dolls agreeing to everything. And the president in name is so power and money hungry, and he's carrying the message to his supporters. He has no moral principle and will do anything asked of him. We need to come together as never before, or we are doomed. And so we let this guy get away. Now he's wishy-washy back and forth over the terrorist situation. He doesn't know which end is up. I'm telling you, this guy is terrible. You remember all the lies that he told about COVID, and there were thousands of people in refrigerated trucks in New York. I'll never forget that. And then he blames President Biden for some eggs and all this nonsense. So thank you for taking my call, and you have a great weekend.
All right, thank you for your call. Always good to hear your voice. Terry Silvers wrote on our on our page on our live stream comments page. I don't understand that either, Reverend Al. Well, at least I know I'm not the only one that don't understand it. Kevin Reeves writes, the Dems are lost in the wilderness. They are coherent leader who speaks relevance. They definitely needs that. I do not understand why they can't get a message out with somebody with coherent thoughts. Gloria Doolin Wilson says, we can flip 3 seats. Listen to this now. We can flip 3 seats, 2 in Florida, 1 in New York. The Dems must get out and campaign for these seats. They have to help them win. No word yet on Hochul, but Florida is April 1st. And she's talking about how they have a special election in Florida and a seat that's Republican that could go Democrat. Same with the seat here in New York, because one of the congresswomen in that seat is now the UN ambassador, so that seat's open. And there's another seat. And she's absolutely right. If we flip 3 seats, we've got the Congress tied up. And I think that is something to go for. Let's go to Rufus in Georgia, WAOK. Rufus.
Good afternoon, Brother Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you yesterday because you went into something real deep yesterday, and I wanted to get on there so bad, and I stayed on that phone almost 2 hours waiting to try to get on there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But, we have a lot of calls, but I'm glad you got on today.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware of that. No, I was saying that thing you was talking about yesterday, you was right up my alley, and you went in and you was getting deep into it. But I think the old devil had got you off track because you was going deep. I'm gonna tell you what she was talking about. You was talking about how you couldn't understand how a man that done been through all the stuff that Donald Trump had went through, that you were saying to yourself, how in the world is a man, he should be the main one, wanting to put his hand on the Bible, and
that's right.
He should be the main one. And you say you can't understand how he's, but it's 2 things converging here on Mr. Sharpton with our people. The 2 things that's converging here is that our people are the people of Deuteronomy 28.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm going to come right back to you. I want you to finish your thought. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Exhale Friday. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sharpton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there. I just finished my Keeping It Real radio show, Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton, on various local stations all over the country, as well as on Sirius XM and on live stream on nationalactionnetwork.net. And I was saying to the people how I was embarrassed for the country when I saw the tape of President Trump getting into a shouting match with the president of Ukraine and calling President Biden name and just all kind of street talk. Sitting there in the Oval Office representing the United States, he couldn't resist taking shots at President Obama, President Biden, having J.D. Vance playing gang up, whether they had practiced this or thought they should do this or not. It's beneath the dignity of any president to engage another head of state like that in a very demeaning, disrespectful way. That's one of the reasons why I keep telling people I've dealt with Donald Trump for 35 years. He calls people names. There's no substance there. There's no sensitivity to what you're doing there. This week, he tweeting names, calling me names, and Joy Reid names, and Rachel Maddow names, just names. And we ought to be above that if we're going to serve the public. Secondly, I wanted to make it clear that, there's been the news out all over about today. A lot of people boycotted. I hope they did. Didn't buy anything. Mr. Swartz out of the Midwest started this. He wasn't trying to be a leader. He was starting up something that he felt would have impact. And that's good. They put my name on it saying this is what Sharpton said. And I did say it. And we have a call of 90 days that we're going to go, not for one day, we're going to announce that we're going after one or two corporations. And we're going to go and stay on that until we win them reinstating DEI or coming with something that is clear that they're committed to diversity. So whether it's the one day today that Swartz and them are doing, that I support any effort, whether it is what some are doing during the Lenten season, Bishop Reginald Jackson and my friend and brother, Reverend Jamal Bryant in Atlanta, whatever it is, we support all efforts. In the civil rights movement, you had Dr. Martin Luther King with SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, but you had students that were not members of his organization called SNCC. They formed their own. John Lewis, later Stokely Carmichael. And they did what they did. And you had James Farmer in CORE and Congress of Racial Equality that James Farmer led, Floyd McKissick followed. You had Dorothy Hayden, National Council of Negro Women. There was always different ways we did things. Let's not fight each other. Let's fight those that have done things that have stifled and in many ways prevented fairness and justice for all of us. Those that fight us are united. You got Republicans that know Donald Trump is wrong, but they stay united with him because they want whatever their political goals are to be realized. We should be at least mature enough to be together and support everything that is to the advantage of our making this society equal and fair. That is what we're about. And I would hope you that said that Trump is speaking for you or relating to you, I hope you saw the desecration he did in the Oval Office today. You don't treat people like that. But I guess you do, if you think like that. Bless you. Have a great weekend. See you at the rally in Harlem if you're in New York. I'll see you on Politics Nation Saturday and Sunday night if you're not in New York. Blessings.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Comment online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and put a comment on our live stream as you watch the show today. Let's go back to Rufus. Rufus, go ahead and finish your thought. I was intrigued by what you had to say.
Yes, sir. So I just want to set it up right quick, and I'm going to go back into it so they'll know what we're talking about. You was talking about how you couldn't understand what was going on and with this guy, with the President Donald Trump, and how did, he was getting out of all this stuff. And I was saying that it's two things what our people is converging with. It's got something to do with our people. And our people is the people of Deuteronomy 28. And Donald Trump represents that Antichrist spirit. It's always been a contention all the way back from Adam, Seth, Abraham, all that. And what's coming together, that's why all these things that sort of like, it always end up, you ever notice that everything that, whatever they do, it always end up as being against black people?
Always.
It always end, I don't care, huh?
Always.
I'm saying always. It don't matter where it might start on, like I said, it might start about Ukraine, but it'll always go back to black people because that spirit know that we is those people. And those two prophecies is coming together. That's why I really don't worry. I don't too much worry about it. I can't do what I used to do because I'm not mobile like I used to be. I got injury to my spinal cord, and I can't really put no boots on the ground. But I already know his end. I know they end already because that's why I'm looking. But I'm saying what you were saying yesterday, and you was right on the money because you kept saying, well, how does the reason why he keep getting away is because it was designed for him to keep getting away. Once the prophecy kick in, ain't nobody can do nothing about it. I mean, God's word gonna do it. It can't be once it starts.
All right.
But we should know to do what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
All that is.
That's where I was going, Rufus. You finished it for me. Thank you for your call. Yes, God, in my opinion, this is my belief, and you can call with yours, allows things to happen. Not for us to say, oh, God, let that happen. So that's his will. No, he lets some things happen to test us, to see if we're going to stand up and do what we're supposed to do with the blessings he's given us. You know, I'm going to Selma late tomorrow night. So I'm there Sunday for the march and do my TV show from there. 60 years ago, they beat and tear gassed 100 people on that bridge marching toward Montgomery from Selma to get us the Voting Rights Act. Talked about this morning on Morning Joe. Now, you would ask yourself, why would God let those people be beat? And I would say it does not seem merciful. But that beating got the Civil Rights Act passed and put John Lewis in Congress for many years. Hosea Williams, a state legislator, and his children still running Hosea Feed the Hungry. They passed the test. They took the abuse and they passed the test. They didn't get beat up in a bar over a card game. They got beat up in front of the world over voting. A lot of us want to graduate without being tested. You that follow me on Instagram on my morning thoughts, I always talk about you cannot go to a college level on a kindergarten test. You are going to be tested. The higher that you're reaching, the harder the test. And you say, why we got to go through this? It's so hard. Because that makes you strong enough to hold it once you get it. If you can't hold it, there's no reason for God to bless you with it. Perry in Cincinnati, Ohio, the buzz. Perry, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
How you doing, Red Mal?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Well, I woke up this morning, so this is for it, sir. And it's a pleasure to talk to you and hear you. And I'm so happy for you and your daughter, Dominique. It feels in for you when you're not there.
I'm happy for it, too. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So what I want to say, though, Reverend Mal, is that I heard a gentleman a few calls back about the churches. Yes, God Church was the world. It was not in a building. It was in the world. That's what's why the churches are kind of depleting today, because they done got away from the church. And I'm not going to talk long because I know you got a lot of callers. But see, I talked to you a couple of days ago about me being in this world and not of it. So I don't try to just know the word. I try to live it every day, 24/7. I ain't perfect. No, not at all, Ramal. But I tell you what, I don't go around spitting Bible verses. I just try to do what he say and listen to what he say and dissect what he say. And he say, we the church. He didn't say no building. He say, we the church, meaning his children. And I know who I serve. I know who army I'm in. And I know I'm an ambassador of it. So right now, I love you. You keep doing what you're doing. Every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm talking to Dr. Martin Luther King. I feel like I'm talking to all of them. Because you the man. And I'm going to let you go on that. I love you.
I love you. Thank you for your call. Yes, thank you. Bless you. And let me see if I can get another one in here. Still Bill. Let's Still Bill in Cincinnati as well. The buzz. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice to be glad in it. It's a pleasure to talk to you. How are you doing, Reverend?
I'm doing good.
I agree with the last caller. I do not get into Bible scriptures either to translate to people. You know, the thing is that all we can do is tell people that God is good. And, you know, it's a thing whether, you know, they can be like a horse, go to the water Okay? If they want to drink, drink. If you don't want to drink, don't drink. But the thing is, don't look down on us when we drink and everything, when we praise God and everything. And I just want to say that it has been a pleasure of celebrating Black History Month. And the fact of the matter is Donald Trump could not ruin it. And I take pleasure in hoping that he hears me of what I'm saying. And I want to give you a little Black History trivia, Reverend. March 8th, 1971, Muhammad Ali lost his title to Joe Frazier in a battle in Madison Square Gardens. And he technically lost the title due to the fact that he refused to draft. He had to fight for the title, and it was a great fight. And I tell you, the 3 fights were magnificent. And, you know, I salute both of them, even though they're both dead. And I wish I could have met both of them. And I believe in saluting our Black heroes. And the fact of the matter is Donald Trump cannot do a thing to erase our Black heritage, our Black history. He can't do squat. And like I said, God is our president. And I agree with the last caller. So, Reverend, you have a great day. Continue on doing what you do. And say hello to Dominique, and she can keep it real for me.
I'll tell her. All right. Thank you. Let's go to Jerome in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Jerome.
We just lost Jerome.
We just lost Jerome. All right, let me go to my dear friend as well, the activist extraordinaire in Chicago, Pam. Sister Pam, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend. How are you? And hello to everyone. First and foremost, I'm always going to say that we need to support our civil rights organizations and the churches and other organizations that are doing the work. Reverend Sharpton, I want to say, upon observation, on the day that Trump gave that acknowledgement, that address, I was listening to Roland Martin, so I hope it's okay for me to say that, on his
Right.
Black Star Network, and I listened to Reverend Barber, who was outstanding, and he just intertwined, in the biblical days, Bible verses, but what was going on with today. So I'm encouraging everyone to please listen to that. And I think at its height, Roland had, I think he said about 250,000 people tuning in. So then I also I didn't want to give the ratings to any network, so I replayed that mess that the sexual abuser talked about. And upon first observation, Reverend Sharpton, I noticed you had all of those Republicans just smiling and laughing about the cruelty that this Hitler-loving man, along with his Nazi-saluting, apartheid-loving partner, support. You just had them laughing and smiling, knowing that they were hurting the people. Just straight out greed. And I thought about, my God, why are wealthy people, and maybe not all, but certainly those we saw there, so cruel? They have any and everything they could possibly want, all of the power they could want, but they're still not satisfied until they make other people miserable. That was one observation. Another observation upon when Trump was, the sexual abuser, was shaking hands with people. I don't even know if anyone caught this. As he was walking out, leaving, he grabbed a woman's hand. She had on a white jacket. I'm not sure who she was. Shook her hand, but pulled her closer so that he could kiss her on her jaw. Just like the sexual abuser that he is. He can't even restrain himself. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm so proud of Reverend Green. I'm so disgusted with, I think they said 10 Democrats who agreed with the censure. I don't know if you talked about that.
10, yes. We talked about it yesterday. Hold on a minute, Pam. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Work is required. And if we can't stand up now, you got a president in the White House that has said outright, I'm not going to have diversity. Outright said he's not going to deal with the question of racism. Outright said he's suspending anything that guarantees that we're going to deal with the question of racism. In fact, he said they are oppressing white folk. What Trump said. And you are not saying nothing. And you in the pulpit, well, every prophet in the Bible, everybody in the Bible prophesied and preached according to the time in which they lived. There are no out of place prophets. There are none that God sends to discuss what happened or what's going to happen. He uses them to happen right there. Moses didn't preach about Abraham. He got the strength from the lineage of Abraham to lead the Exodus. What will they say about our story? What will they say about our generation? If when you have blatant racism, you two are afraid to stand up and call the truth out.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what I had to do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your areas. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
Says you're the most important person in the Democratic Party.
Sharpton, I am here, Reverend Al, with Dr. Glenda Glover at Tennessee State University, and I have the Tennessee State University leaders who all want to thank you for being our civil rights leader.
The Attorney General of Black America, Ben Crump.
Commitment to justice.
And I'm probably going to need your help on this legal fight. You know, they shorted the historically black colleges and universities to the tune of about $13 billion, and Tennessee State was the one they shorted the most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Keeping it real. It's Exhale Friday. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You live, Rev.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's Exhale Friday. Let me go right back to Pam, who held over so she can finish her thoughts. Pam in Chicago, you keeping it real.
Yes, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. As I was saying with Representative Green, I appreciate what he did, and we need to call and let him know we appreciate that he stood up and said that. That's important. Also, Reverend Sharpton, with the boycott, I'm looking forward to what's going to come out of NAN's report, being strategic, and who we're going to target. I'm so looking forward to that, but still on my own, I'm just purchasing things that I must have, essentials. I'm not, if I don't have to have it, I'm not buying it. And I think that's something we all can incorporate right now. If you don't need it, don't buy it. And I'm talking for your everyday stuff. And I'm talking also about the designer stuff. Because I don't think as women we need another designer purse, pair of shoes. I don't think, a man, you need another designer suit. I really don't. And if we can also, make an impact with those things, it would matter. Lastly, I'm going to add this voter purging, Reverend Sharpton.
Right.
Please don't let that issue die off, because if they're purging voters now with provisional ballots, I can only assume, no, I don't even have to assume, they will try to do the same thing come the special election. And so please keep that on the issue. And lastly, I'm concerned about Cuomo running for mayor. To the New Yorkers, you being in New York, I'm not confident that he will remain a Democratic in the Democratic Party if he even wins mayor. I think he'd be too he'll be closely aligned with the Republicans, and I'm concerned his son, I think is on conservative stations. I would not want to see Cuomo as mayor. So can someone else possibly win that is Democratic, who's more in line? I think we're trying to just help people and do what is right for people.
Yeah, I think his brother is not his son. It's his brother is Chris Cuomo on another station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
You're correct. His brother. Thank you. So I'm just a little bit concerned about that. But we must support, we must call our elected officials, and we must donate money when and where we can.
Absolutely.
All of that has to happen. Thank you.
Right on point. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Sister Pam. Carrie in Champaign, Illinois. Carrie? Is Carrie on?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al. Hello.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to thank you for all that you're doing first.
Thank you.
And what I noticed about the address that President, I don't even want to say president, that Trump gave, one thing I noticed was this. When Al Green stood up, this is what people forget or don't think about. There's a time to lead. There's a time for protocol, and that was the time to break protocol, because we're looking at this country, and this man is trying to kill us. You got Kennedy. We got 10 outbreaks of measles disease in 10 states. And Trump has got rid of most universities researchers team, they're gone. Most of the universities in America, he's not going to fund them. So to me, that's their election of duty, and he's putting this country's safety at risk. So that's a big concern that they need to do something about with him, if they could even get him out, because what he's doing is he's killing this country. And Musk is trying to monetize the whole United States and everything. And when you let him go in there and steal all our identity and do all these things, and then they sit there like I'm watching Birth of a Nation, and he giving an address, and then someone complains about Al Green. You got 10 Democrats that don't have any sense.
Right.
We're not under norm. This is not a normal world now. We're in a fight. We're in a real fight. So the man, like I said again, safety is a huge concern. Kennedy is not a doctor. Kennedy is not even a quack. Kennedy is crazy. and they need to be stopped. Reverend Al, they need to be stopped.
No, I agree.
You're gonna hurt people. You're hurting people.
I agree.
And you kick people out, and you get rid of Medicaid and Medicare, and all those people going to go out in the street.
They have no option. They have no option. You're right.
They have no option. So he needs to be removed for their election of duty, even just on safety. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let me go to my dear friend in Atlanta, Georgia, northwest Atlanta. D, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Reverend Al.
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call, and I continue to appreciate everything that you do. I have a suggestion for Democrats, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, but I want to mention that this is not normal. The last two callers have said that. What we're living through now, this is not normal, Reverend Al. And I am a child of the 50s and 60s, and I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot, but I've never seen anything like what's happening now in Washington, D.C. Trump is obviously a Russian asset or a Putin puppet. Something's not right about that, Reverend Al. It doesn't make any sense to me. I am disappointed in those Democrats who voted with Republicans to censure Representative Green. These are not normal times. You cannot go along to get along and act like that's the thing to do. My suggestion to Democrats or to anybody who's wealthy enough to do anything about it, at this point, put out an ad and run it 24/7, asking America, asking voters, is this what you voted for? And I think the answer will be no, because you have a lot of MAGA folk who are being dismissed from their jobs now. They thought the other people would be dismissed. They didn't think it would happen to them. And right here in my own family, I have a niece who had to pack up from her house, leave her house, and move back to D.C. And now they're talking about doing away with the building that she moved to D.C. to work in.
Wow.
That doesn't make any sense, Reverend Al.
Wow.
And if I know somebody, and I know of others, I have a former student, same thing with him. They moved back to D.C., and now they're saying, hey, we're going to sell those buildings. We're going to close those buildings up. That doesn't make any sense. This is not even what MAGA folk voted for. And something needs to be said. And the Democrats I've decided not to call myself a Democrat ever again. I'm going to be an independent because the Democrats continue to take a butter knife to a GOP gunfight.
Right.
Put out an ad. Ask the elector, those who voted, electors, is this what you voted for? Thank you, Reverend Al, because we do know that the cruelty is the point. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. I just finished my Keeping It Real radio show, Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton, on various local stations all over the country, as well as on Sirius XM and on live stream on nationalactionnetwork.net. And I was saying to the people how I was embarrassed for the country when I saw the tape of President Trump getting into a shouting match with the president of Ukraine and calling President Biden name and just all kind of street talk. Sitting there in the Oval Office representing the United States, he couldn't resist taking shots at President Obama, President Biden, having J.D. Vance playing gang up, whether they had practiced this or thought they should do this or not. It's beneath the dignity of any president to engage another head of state like that in a very demeaning, disrespectful way. That's one of the reasons why I keep telling people I've dealt with Donald Trump for 35 years. He calls people names. There's no substance there. There's no sensitivity to what you're doing there. This week, he tweeting names, calling me names, and Joy Reid names, and Rachel Maddow names, just names. And we ought to be above that if we're going to serve the public. Secondly, I wanted to make it clear that, there's been the news out all over about today. A lot of people boycotted. I hope they did. Didn't buy anything. Mr. Swartz out of the Midwest started this. He wasn't trying to be a leader. He was starting up something that he felt would have impact. And that's good. They put my name on it saying this is what Sharpton said. And I did say it. And we have a call of 90 days that we're going to go, not for one day, we're going to announce that we're going after one or two corporations. And we're going to go and stay on that until we win them reinstating DEI or coming with something that is clear that they're committed to diversity. So whether it's the one day today that Swartz and them are doing, that I support any effort, whether it is what some are doing during the Lenten season, Bishop Reginald Jackson and my friend and brother, Reverend Jamal Bryant in Atlanta, whatever it is, we support all efforts. In the civil rights movement, you had Dr. Martin Luther King with SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, but you had students that were not members of his organization called SNCC. They formed their own, John Lewis, later Stokely Carmichael, and they did what they did. And you had James Farmer in CORE and Congress of Racial Equality that James Farmer led, Floyd McKissick followed. You had Dorothy Hayden, National Council of Negro Women. There was always different ways we did things. Let's not fight each other. Let's fight those that have done things that have stifled and in many ways prevented fairness and justice for all of us. Those that fight us are united. You got Republicans that know Donald Trump is wrong, but they stay united with him because they want whatever their political goals are to be realized. We should be at least mature enough to be together and support everything that is to the advantage of our making this society equal and fair. That is what we're about. And I would hope you that said that Trump is speaking for you or relating to you, I hope you saw the desecration he did in the Oval Office today. You don't treat people like that. But I guess you do, if you think like that. Bless you. Have a great weekend. See you at the rally in Harlem if you're in New York. I'll see you on Politics Nation Saturday and Sunday night if you're not in New York. Blessings. where Frederick Douglass laid. Don't stand on the ground where Rosa Parks laid, unless you're going to really do what it is we committing to do. Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against wickedness, principalities, wickedness in high places. I want everyone, if you're resolved, to just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, Al Sharpton, do solemnly commit that I will stand up and rise up in the name of Dr. King, in the name of Frederick Douglass, in the name of Rosa Parks, and I will defend equality for all, diversity, equality, inclusion, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, immigration rights. I commit, I take this oath that I will not become like those I'm fighting. I'm not for violence, but I will peacefully stand against those that want to bring us down. I commit this in the house of God, on this sacred ground. So help me God. Congratulate yourself. While you're standing, I want all the ministers to come. Let's join arms. When they would march in the South, I used to think it was a little too moderate for me. But as I read my history and got to know some of the lieutenants of Dr. King,
hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all the neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program. but we need you to be part of the movement. Or you can watch it in live stream and post up a comment that I'll read at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can go to our YouTube/NAN page. So let us be together. Let's go to Jerry in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Jerry?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Hey, I just want to say I like your callers. Your callers are very intelligent. I compared them to C-SPAN, and C-SPAN their callers are pitiful.
I agree.
But saying that some of your callers stole my thunder, I was very impressed with our Congressman Al Green, because what he did, he's bringing attention to something, and those who listen, maybe they'll look up what he's talking about when he's talking about how they're going to affect Medicaid. And so I was very impressed with that, because when he came out, the reporters came to him, and the other Democrats actually should have followed him out and co-signed what he was talking about. And I was very offended by the 10 Democrats that went along with the censor. I hope, if you haven't done it, I hope you bring their names up, because my congressperson, Marcy Kaptur, is it Senator? No, Congressperson Marcy Kaptur, she voted along with the censor. And I actually hope Nina Turner comes in and takes her place, because I know a lot of people got mad at her about what she said about Joe Biden, but at the same time, she is very fiery. She's very outspoken. And I think the Democratic Party needs that, because right now, to me, it looks like you have a bunch of whiners. They complain and whine about what Trump and Musk are doing, instead of, yes, complain about what they're doing, but state what you could do to solve the problem. And they don't do that enough.
I totally agree with you on that, because these armchair revolutionaries, we used to call them, I call them radio radicals. It's easy to talk on the radio, call it whatever talk show of your liking. What is more difficult is to get out there and do something about what you're complaining about. I absolutely agree with you on that. Let's go to Flavor King in Atlanta, Georgia, WAOK. Flavor King.
God bless Supreme Freedom Fighters, Brother Al Sharpton, and all the beautiful people.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I identify as a conservocrat, as I told you before. I just want to start out by saying that. And I did sponsor Real Men for Trump. And most of the stuff he doing, I totally agree with. And he already said he was going to do it. All right. Elon Musk, that's another story. I look at that thing he did. That to me, that was a salute, a Nazi salute, a direct an assault to us and the Jewish community. And if it's true that he said they should let that boy go who choked.
George Floyd.
If that's actually true, that was came out of his mouth, then he directly telling the black race, this is for y'all and how I feel about y'all, and half of that Nazi thing was about for y'all too. And that is not good. But we must admit, 95% of the money that they finding is white folks' money. It ain't black.
95% of what money they find?
He going in everybody's bank account. He mashing one button and finding out, we're tracing money down, and all these accounts where these folks is 100 and all this. Over 95% of the stuff they finding is Caucasians, and y'all.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I know he's firing people from jobs. Whoa. I know he's firing people from jobs. I don't know he's going in people's bank accounts.
That next. I'm going to do that next. You ready? About the jobs. Now, he talked about cleaning the swamp. This Trump. That the first time and this time. Now, I'm going to put it on your Facebook page. Everything I say. Now, we all on Facebook. We all on social media. And that's including the FBI, CIA. Everything we have ever downloaded, looked at on the internet. They got records of it. And all Elon Musk and them have to do now is put up one button, and it'll pull up the department and the FBI, every name in there. Mash one more button, everything they got hidden that they ever thought was hid will pop up. Hit one more button. All the stuff on the pornography, child abuse, snuff films.
Yeah, well, he may not want to hit a lot of buttons when you got his boss or partner, or he's the boss. I don't know who's the boss. Them been convicted of 3 sexual harassments. He better be careful hitting buttons.
Though it wasn't with no child, no baby.
I don't care what it was. It's illegal and it's wrong. Nobody accused him of being a pedophile. They accused him of being a sexual harasser, and they convicted him of that. They accused him of fraud with Trump University, and they convicted him of that. And in criminal court, 34 convictions. So, I mean, he ain't got to hit no button. I wish somebody would hit a button, and they'd only bring up all of the stuff the courts have found Donald Trump guilty of.
Can I talk now?
Go ahead.
Doc, can I talk? Somebody told me to be quiet.
All right, then you be quiet. Let me go on to the next call. Because you're going to say something when I answer you want to do. Just say, let's go on. I try to be fair with you, Flavor King, but you don't want to be fair. Let's go to Jerry in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. I'd let him talk 3 minutes. He go to I cannot talk. Jerry, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Jerry there?
You already went to Jerry, sir.
Let me go to Michael in Fayetteville, Georgia. Michael.
Hey, Reverend Al, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm sorry I have to follow Flavor King, but it is what it is.
I'll give him a chance to talk. He talks 3 whole minutes. Then when I say half a second, can I talk? I mean, come on. And I know Flavor. He ain't a bad brother. I just disagreed on politics. But come on, don't do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Michael.
But that's okay, Ray. Rev, it's such a beautiful day. I am out here in my yard, and I'm doing something that I've been wanting to do a long time. I'm actually putting up a flagpole in my front yard.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran, and I wanted to put my Marine Corps colors up. My wife asked me what flag I was going to put up. I said I'm going to put up the Marine Corps colors, but as far as the red, white, and blue, I'm going to have to pass on that until Trump is out of office.
Wow.
Because I'm with the other young lady. I think he is a Russian agent, and he's going to drive this country down until somebody stops him. Also, too, Rev, I started calling you 4 years ago, talking to you about Camp Lejeune.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Rev, this is gonna blow your mind. As of today, there's not been one case heard in court, and all those Marines that voted for Donald Trump, thinking that he was going to do something that did wrong, because the first thing he did was fire all the JAG officers.
Yeah, he did.
So now we don't have. They don't even have the officers to go to court and hear the case.
Hold on 1 minute. Let me take a break. I'm coming back to everybody. 1-877-532-5797 or live stream www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Be right back.
Hey, Rev?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, on that Flavor King thing,
He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, everybody, sometimes, Lord Almighty, I feel so good. Oh yeah, one more time, yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say,
God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me.
then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say real song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set
country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God does smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say real song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. I feel it. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me.
5797 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com the Rev Al. Let's go to Michael, Fayetteville, Georgia. Michael.
Hey, Rev. I'm glad you came back to me, but like I was saying, the thing as far as Camp Lejeune, they would not be hearing any cases this year because of Donald Trump firing all the JAG officers.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for your call and that information, Michael. That's absolutely inexcusable, among other things he does. Sharif in Washington, D.C., WOLB. You're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, how you doing, Reverend Al Sharpton?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, my brother. I'm calling from the great city of Washington, D.C., formerly known as Chocolate City, now called Vanilla Swirl City. I'm calling about my disappointment with the so-called black leadership's support of same-sex marriage and the transgender LGBT community movement. Trump had an executive order to ban transgenders in women's sports, locker rooms, bathrooms, and all of the House of Representatives members, Democrats, except for two, voted against that. And then when you look at the Senate, all of them, the Democrats, voted against it. So I'm saying that this is hindering the black community. I don't want a man and the woman in the bathroom with my daughter. Additionally, I'll listen to Eric Adams of New York.
Wait, just a minute.
Yes, sir.
You think it hinders only black people or all people?
All people.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll listen to Eric Adams with his congressional testimony before the House of Representatives the other day. He said he spent $6.9 billion on illegal immigrants. Okay? And he said he could have used that money that's over a 2-year period. He said he could have used that money to support, assist children in aftercare programs and mental health programs, and also just American citizens that are out here struggling. The Democratic Party has completely lost touch, particularly with the black African American male community.
Well, then why didn't the African American male community vote against the Republican Party?
Yeah, they do, because they've been completely hoodwinked, as Malcolm X
Oh,
would
okay.
say.
So everybody that does support somebody that you disagree with is hoodwinked. But
no, sir.
Wait a minute, just a minute. But you can take a position, and people can listen to you as I'm listening to you, respect your point of view, whether I agree or not. But if I disagree, I'm hoodwinked. Maybe I just disagree.
You're a New Yorker, right? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that $6.9 billion over a 2-year period could have been spent better for helping
First of
America?
all, I don't know that it was $6.9 billion. Second
That's
of
what the
all,
mayor of New York
well, that doesn't mean, you said the mayor of New York said it. I don't know that he said it, and I don't know that that's true. I know the mayor of New York is in a jam and to say a lot of things to support President Trump. So first of all, I'm not going to confirm, because somebody go out of here and say Sharpton confirmed that. I do not know that it is the fact. That's one. Second of all,
I'm going on his testimony. He's under
and
oath.
I said to you, sir, there are a lot of people under oath that lie and or get it wrong, or you could be quoting him wrong. I don't know. But what I'm saying, just a minute. Okay, let's go on the next caller. You can't. I let you say something. When I want to respond, you gonna talk my time and yours. That's not keeping it real. That's you just dominate. Everybody gonna be hoodwinked, but you gonna do all the talking. The thing I don't understand about the Trump followers is they don't want an exchange. They want to just talk, and we just supposed to shut up and listen. You asked me a question. That's why I started talking. You asked me, do I think the $6.9 billion could have been spent on something else? When I get ready to answer, you don't want my answer. And my answer is, I don't know that it was $6.9 billion. But whatever it was, Mr. Trump has said when he was in there, the first time he would solve the migrant problem, and this time he's done neither time. Now go ahead.
Would you not agree that the influx of illegal immigrants has decreased?
Yeah, under Joe Biden, they got lower than they were under Trump. That's correct. That's a fact.
Okay. Can I ask you a few other questions? The Congressional Black Caucus voted against banning transgender men going into women's sports, women's restrooms, and women's locker rooms. You support that as a minister?
Well, first of all, as a minister, I don't know that I haven't been in a bathroom with transgender. I don't go and inspect people when I go to the bathroom. So I think it's a whole red herring that the Republicans are trying to pull up. You don't know when you're at a public bathroom who's a transgender. It is an issue that is unrealistic. What do you want to do? Hire people to inspect people's genitals at bathroom doors? I mean, come on. Let's go to the next call. Are we going to sit around and you need to get a radio show if you want to. You done asked 4 questions I asked. Maybe you need a show if you want to ask the question. David, I mean, but, it amazes me how people let the right wing throw out something and we run on that. Would you go to the bathroom with transgender? I don't know that I haven't gone to the bathroom with transgender. Neither does anybody listening. So y'all want to hire people? I go to airports a lot. Do we want to hire everybody to every bathroom that you got to check your genitals to see who you are before you walk in? I mean, what are we talking about? Don't let these people divert you from basic stuff that everybody should have. That is a right to work, a right to take care of their family, a right to live, a right to make a living, right to vote. You run around in somebody's underwear. David in Baltimore, Maryland, WOLB.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call today, Mr. Sharpton. I just want to talk about the State of the Union address the other night, and
It was it was addressed to the joint Congress. He can't do a State of the Union until next year.
Right. Just want to talk about, the Democrats not standing for this young man, D.J. Daniels, not standing for Jason Hartley, the guy that
Wait a minute, not standing for who?
Not standing for D.J. Daniels, the cancer victim.
Who said the Democrats didn't stand?
Well, I saw it right on TV. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I can see it with my two eyes. They were...
No, they didn't stand for what Trump tried to say about that. They didn't disrespect the young man. I mean, where did you get that from?
I mean, it was the truth. That was the truth. I saw it right on live TV. You can't... my eyes ain't lying to me, Mr. Sharpton. I saw it right on TV. You can't deny it.
Mr. Trump made a statement that they disagreed with. They did not say that they disagreed.
I get it. Hello?
Wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight. All right. All of the Trump people that want to call, the caller before you and you, on this show, you're gonna talk, and then I'm gonna answer, and then you're gonna talk. If you're gonna talk over me, we go to the next call, and I won't talk over you. Can we get that straight? Cause I don't know what y'all doing right-wing TV, but y'all gonna right-wing radio, but you're gonna respect this show. So do we understand that? Now,
that's good.
They did not applaud what Trump was using the situation for his policy. They were not disrespecting the young man with cancer. In fact, they are the ones, the Black Caucus and among others, that are fighting to keep the affordable health care that helps people like that young man. Now go ahead, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's not true, but, I think, that's the problem. You can hate Trump all you want to. I got people I work with, Mr. Sharpton, that hate Trump, and that's fine. You have a right to your opinion to hate Trump, but, to hate on these cancer victims, hate on these, how about Lake and Riley's family? They couldn't stand for her, They couldn't stand and, applaud, that they've taken these criminals out of our country. I mean, it's one thing to hate Trump, but if you hate America and you hate the people in it, that's why Democrats are soulless. They're out of touch with reality, Mr. Sharpton. They've turned their back against God. I mean, this ain't the party of John F. Kennedy and, Jimmy Carter. They were, godly men, that wanted to help out. But y'all's party turned your back on God. And, if you turn your back on God, I don't care what party you're from. I even say that from a Republican perspective. If you turn your back on God, it's done.
David, I know probably all of the caucus. And I think that it is outright blasphemous for you to act like because somebody disagrees with your politics that they're turning their back on God. That's blasphemous.
And I don't agree with everything.
I just told you don't talk while I'm talking, and I won't talk when you talk. I'll let you get all of that out 2 or 3 times about they turn their back on God. But as soon as I start answering you, you start talking. Lord, learn some manners when you call my show. Let's go to break. Keeping it real, Sharpton. That's my name. Keeping it real is what I do.
So who is Al Sharpton
Be right back.
anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the 2 most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, You know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
No justice, no justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Work is required. And if we can't stand up now, you got a president in the White House that has said outright, I'm not going to have diversity. Outright said he's not going to deal with the question of racism. Outright said he's suspending anything that guarantees that we're going to deal with the question of racism. In fact, he said they are oppressing white folk. What Trump said. And you are not saying nothing, and you in the pulpit. Well, every prophet in the Bible, everybody in the Bible prophesied and preached according to the time in which they live. There are no out of place prophets. There are none that God sends to discuss what happened or what's going to happen. He uses them to happen right there. Moses didn't preach about Abraham. He got the strength from the lineage of Abraham to lead the Exodus. What will they say about our story? What will they say about our generation? If when you have blatant racism, you two are afraid to stand up and call the truth out.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Because they became strange fruit. I have these tears in my eyes today, Reverend.
Cause every generation of Islam.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, where injustice goes, he follows.
30 years ago, Yusuf Hawkins was the young 16-year-old brother killed for being in a white neighborhood in Brooklyn. I got stabbed leading one of those marches.
Keeping it real. It's Exhale Friday with America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Don't forget, Congressman Al Green will be among my guests tomorrow on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Sunday at 5 p.m. I will have several members of the Senate and caucus live from Selma with me. I'll be in Selma, Alabama for the march. Live from Selma Sunday, live from New York tomorrow. And among my guests, Congressman Al Green, who was censored for standing up during the speech by Donald Trump. The House censored him. Never censored the people that disrupted Biden or Obama. But they censored Al Green. I'm going to talk about it with him tomorrow. Let me also remind you to make sure you go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and register. The numbers are popping. We're going to run out of space. Don't wait. And I'll talk about it at the end of the hour. Let me go to our union organizer extraordinaire, Brother Percy in Detroit. Percy?
Reverend Al.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, just kind of checking in with you. You know, I've been busy, you know, still organizing these home care workers in our state of Michigan because we got that Senate bill passed in 2024 when we were with our Democrat leadership in majority, for them to organize this year to negotiate for a contract for the home care workers and get better benefits. But look, I'm checking in, man. So I'm listening. I'm not going to mention his name, but it's just amazing how you're going to call and going to say that you saw with your own eyes what the Democrats were doing, how they wouldn't stand up. But yet, here it is, January the 6th. You didn't see what happened then?
No, you didn't see that.
I mean, and you saw what happened then. But the fact that you saw what happened then, you give that a pass that is so detrimental to our country, and you sit up and vote for this man that allowed that, and you want to, you know, and then the other guy
and not only that, Percy, when the young boy stood up, they panned to the young boy. They didn't even show what the Democrats or the Republicans was doing. We heard a lot of clapping. So how did he see something that they never panned to? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Right. You know, and it's just that they refuse to call balls and strikes and be fair about it. And they're hypocritical. I don't know what, like your mama say, ain't no good in them, and a lot of them. I'm talking about the ones who act like that ain't no good in them.
Right.
So I ain't gonna put it on all of them.
That's right.
The ones that act like that. And then the other young man gonna call. You gonna sit up here and give up our voting rights, our human rights, our civil rights, the money that they invested in our colleges, our black colleges, that the past administration, the school, all the school debt that they relieved us on, the package that Kamala Harris had she had a black agenda for our community, and she had an agenda for everybody to be able to get housing, to be able to be better for the home care workers. They were talking about making it so Medicare would be it would be a national help for home care workers instead of just, you know, what we get now, just our state, man. So, you know, but look, I got honored a little bit with my union, Black History Month, for being involved in the community and involved with our union membership, right? And they asked me to give a quote. That's really what I'm calling about. They asked me to give a quote of one of our past black leaders, of a quote that always stays with me. And I quoted Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X made a quote in 1965. And here's the quote. If we are not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppression.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, man, that's where we at right now, man. You know, that's where we are right now.
I love that.
And this is a quote he said in 1965, man.
And it's true today. Okay, let me bring it.
True today, man.
How's your wife, Percy?
She coming, man. She coming on. She getting better. She's gonna be, you know, getting some rehab all the way up to the end of April and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So,
well, you staying in there.
Thankfully.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Let me bring in my co-host every week. The last hour of the show is the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit and the head of the Michigan State chapter and national expansion of the National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
Everything is good, Rev. It's always good to be with you, and certainly good to hear Brother Percy on the other side of the phone and all of those who have called in. You know, Rev, I've heard many people have much conversation over the show about all of the work that's been going on and all of what we have seen this week from Reverend Barber, who gave a speech this week and on Roland Martin, and then from Congressman Al Green, who stood up and got in the way and paused the speech in the State of the Union. And I was telling someone earlier, I said, you know, Congressman Al Green, at least for the last 10 years that I know of, has been coming to the National Action Network National Convention. And he's been there on many occasions, whether he's been on panels or not, or whether he's been on panels. He has been there. I have met him there on several occasions. Why? Because he understand that his role is not just singularly focused on playing politics and around policy, but his role is to stand up for black people as he's in that position and stand up for those who are disenfranchised. And so I would like to encourage folk to make a Al Green proposal, to take an Al Green stand and stand up for what's right by joining us as we prepare to organize ourselves. We've got to get into action, and we've got to get into action in a very coordinated way. But join us April 2nd through the 5th at the National Action Network National Convention in April at the Sheraton Times Square. If you haven't registered, and if you were on the fence or on the bubble, I'm not sure I'm going to register, I'm not sure I'm going to go, well, make that resolution today. When you seen Congressman Al Green stand up, you know, Rev, he put a lot on the line. People think censor just means that they say you were wrong and put it in the record. There's a lot of possibilities of what could have happened when you stand up like that. He could have lost his pension. He could have lost his retirement. He could have lost his seat, for that matter. And when you have lived long enough, like yourself, who've seen people like Adam Clayton Powell be persecuted, John Conyers and others be persecuted and lose their seat and lose their positions, you know what could happen. So we sacrifice just like Al Green. We fix our plane tickets, we get our plane tickets, we book our hotels, and we head to the National Action Network National Convention and we get our and we pull our support together and move this movement forward.
All right, let me go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ray, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams. Is Ray there? I don't hear Ray. Let me go to Richard.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Rev.
Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Hey, how's it going, Rev?
Everything's good.
Good, Rev. These Democrats, these Republicans are coming out the woodwork today, Rev. But your boy, what's his name? Flavor Fave or something like that? A few callers back?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump supporter. But I wonder if he realized that Trump wanted to execute 5 innocent black teens, knowing that they were innocent. You know, Trump wouldn't even rent to blacks in the 70s. I wonder if Flav know that. And he called black countries a-hole countries. And so for those black Republicans who still vote for Trump, knowing that, I feel sorry for him, Rev. But let me say this. When you talk to Al Green on Saturday, can you tell him my boy Ray said, thank you for getting into some good trouble? Because that's what he did. Hey, Rev, have you ever heard the term squeaky wheel get the oil?
Yep.
You know, he got more attention than the ones who did nothing. And the ones who did nothing, they almost like they were kind of embarrassed and ashamed to see what he did. You know, more people had respect for Al Green than the ones who just sat there and done nothing. That's why I said, you know, the squeaky wheel get the oil, Rev. And what he did, It was good trouble, according to John Lewis, when he said, hey, let's get into some good trouble. So he's probably more respected for what he did than the ones that done nothing, and just want to hold up a sign, which was fine too. But the one guy, Congressman, I think his name is Nagoose, the black guy that was right behind him. Yeah, he was almost like, hey, don't show my face. He was trying to hide his face like, I ain't in this, and that's what I'm pissed off about it. At some point, you got to stand up and get into some good trouble, and so that's my comment, Rev. Enjoy your weekend.
Same to you. Let me go to Richard in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Richard.
Yes. First, let me say we have to get ready for these elections because we have an election here for the Supreme Court. Other elections, there's now, a lot of people don't realize that there's elections before. They just think about to concentrate on the president's election. Right now, we've got to concentrate on voting Democrat for the elections that's coming up, first off. Even though I don't agree with everything the Democrats do or say, they're a lot better than what the Republicans are. And to me, the Republicans Party is like about 99.9% lost. Democrats, they got a few issues, but I'm voting Democrat. So I think they'll at least stabilize the country.
Now, when is the election and what's up? Because that's important.
To be honest, I got to check the dates and stuff myself. That's another thing. We have to be more on the dates and
get that to me so we can talk about it. Because they're having the mayoral election in New York, gubernatorial election in New Jersey. And yes, we've got the midterm next year, but we have some very important elections. And you're telling me we have some important elections there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We need to not go to sleep this year.
Yes, and one other thing is that, like Elon Musk, to me, like and Trump, they both showed their hands. They've shown this how deep they would go, and that's to the bottom. Like Musk is not to sell this company because I can't see him being able to run Tesla and SpaceX after what he did, especially to the government workers. The only people that Trump deal with is Russia. I mean, he done pissed everybody off.
Yeah. And offered white farmers in South Africa expedited citizenship. I mean, it don't get no more serious than that. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Be right back. Sharpton Williams. Be right back.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all the neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life. If you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want? We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know I'm trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know I'm trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
One of the things that we're gonna deal with is this DEI and deal with how we target a company that has joined the anti-DEI movement. Now there are other efforts going on and I support them. I'm not against nobody doing whatever they think is right. But I know how to do a boycott. I'm not talking about, I support what a bishop is doing in Georgia, Reggie Jackson, and my friend and brother Jamal Bryant doing the 40-day don't buy. That's great. Somebody else is doing shutdown on the 28th. That's great. They put my name out there. I know about it, but I'm not against it. But what we must do is we're going to convene at the network convention where we have now a commission that we have started in NAN on King Day, that on 90 days later, which will be in the middle of our convention, we will give the report on a company that has a high level of consumer doubt that comes out of our community and a small margin of profit. We know then that we can take a real impact because he cannot have his margin of profit turn into a loss and sustain itself. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to announce we're going to buy some stock in some of these companies and go to the stockholders meeting. So all of y'all here today, I'm going to buy some shares and we go into the stockholders meeting and stand up in the meeting and say, how do you sell in our community, but you won't give contracts to our people. You won't hire our people. You won't deal with the C-suites. So we're going to have a multi-pronged strategy. Why don't you advertise on Black Media? We're going across the board and we're laying out the plan. And we got people those 4 days. People that are watching that want to come, all you have to do is register www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number. You can call now. People are at the phones now at 1-877-626-4651. Work is required. And if we can't stand up now, you got a president in the White House that has said outright, I'm not going to have diversity. Outright said he's not going to deal with the question of racism. Outright said he's suspending anything that guarantees that we're going to deal with the question of racism. In fact, he said they are oppressing white folk. What Trump said. And you are not saying nothing, and you in the pulpit, well, every prophet in the Bible, everybody in the Bible prophesied and preached according to the time in which they lived. There are no out of place prophets. There are none that God sends to discuss what happened or what's going to happen. He uses them to happen right there. Moses didn't preach about Abraham. He got the strength from the lineage of Abraham to lead the Exodus. What will they say about our story? What will they say about our generation? If when you have blatant racism, you two are afraid to stand up and call the truth out.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sharpton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now. Because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized, if there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. Reverend Williams, after President Trump gave his address the other night, it was the senator from your state of Michigan that gave the rebuttal. What did you think of her rebuttal?
Well, Rev, I think that, moderation is important. And I get that a lot of the Democrats are trying to make sure that they don't get outside of the independent bubble and trying to make sure that they are inclusive of all of America. But I think the issue that we're going to face is that if the Democrats aren't loud, proud, and forceful about the agenda that's before us and about the importance of us naming exactly what's happening, naming it what it is. It's just like you don't hear Democrats saying much about DEI. I mean, if these are issues that matter not just to the working class, but they matter to us all over the spectrum. And so I think it's going to be so very important that we not only cater to the middle of the road, but we also cater. And when I say the middle of the road, what I'm saying is trying to pander to folks who would follow after a Trump agenda. That's not helping us, but making sure we make it very clear that this agenda is harmful to all of America. I think that's more important. So I wouldn't say that it was A plus, but I would definitely say it was A minus.
All right, let's go to Andre in Atlanta, Georgia, WAOK. Andre.
Good afternoon, Reverend, and to Reverend Williams.
Good afternoon.
Rev, your first call today was from Miss Eunice in Chicago.
Right.
Miss Eunice is to your show what the Associated Press has traditionally been until recently to the press briefings in the White House. The Associated Press has traditionally, until Trump recently barred them, the Associated Press has traditionally always asked the first question during White House briefings. Likewise, Miss Eunice should always be the first call you take on days where she calls in. But anyway, Rev, this morning I saw for maybe the 100th time the video footage of Bloody Sunday at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. And I got to tell you, the older I get, the harder it is for me to watch that footage.
Yeah, they played it when I was on Morning Joe this morning. It gets to you, don't it?
Absolutely. It does. But in watching it this morning, I also realized that watching that footage re-energizes me, that it helps me to stay focused, and that it strengthens my commitment to the cause. So I'd just like to suggest to everyone that whenever we're feeling defeated or lost in this age of MAGA, as many of us did after the 2024 election, just go to YouTube and type in the words Bloody Sunday or Selma March and watch the old black and white news footage of what happened to us on that day. Or if you happen to be watching TV and any of those clips come across your TV screen, press the record button on your DVR remote so that you can save that footage and watch it at any time in the future. I guarantee you that watching that footage will re-energize you. Rev, I'd like to weigh in on what you and a couple of callers discussed earlier, which is the criticism that Democrats who attended Trump's address to Congress on Tuesday are receiving from right-wing media outlets, including Rupert Murdoch's House of Prostitution, better known as Fox News, regarding the Democrats not standing or applauding, if they didn't, when Trump spoke of the 13-year-old cancer survivor. The journalistic prostitutes at Fox News are boo-hooing and claiming that Democrats are, quote-unquote, heartless and soulless for not standing or applauding to recognize a 13-year-old cancer survivor. It's a ridiculous notion. It's a typical juvenile right-wing MAGA red herring. The Democrats in that chamber were not standing or applauding for a cancer survivor. They were not standing or applauding to display their disgust at a so-called president who would stoop so low, who would be so slimy as to use a 13-year-old cancer survivor as a political prop to help advance his racist agenda. And how do we know that Trump was using this 13-year-old cancer survivor as a prop? Because he told us that during that address that this 13-year-old cancer survivor wanted to be a police officer someday. Did he tell this 13-year-old cancer survivor or this cancer survivor's father that during his previous tenure as president that he did absolutely nothing for 3 hours while police at the United States Capitol were getting their brains beaten out? Did he also tell this 13-year-old cancer survivor or this cancer survivor's father that the moment that he began serving as president again about a month and a half ago, that he pardoned all of those low-life thugs who beat police officers and released hundreds of violent convicted felons onto the streets of America? Did he tell this 13-year-old cancer survivor or the survivor's father any of that? That is how we know that this convicted felon-in-chief was using a 13-year-old cancer survivor as a prop. And that is why Democrats during that address to Congress refused to stand if they didn't, or refused to applaud if they didn't, which was exactly the right thing to do. But good try, MAGA world. Tell Sean Hannity that his talking point isn't working. One last thing, Rev. I think that there's an obvious parallel to be drawn between how Donald Trump is treating President Zelensky of Ukraine and how he's treating New York Mayor Eric Adams. As you've stated many times, if Trump truly believed that Mayor Adams was treated unfairly, then go all in and pardon the mayor. Likewise, if Trump truly believes that having American citizens present in Ukraine to rape that country of its precious minerals will prevent Vladimir Putin from violating any ceasefire agreement, then go all in and put it in writing in the agreement. Don't just talk about it, put it in writing. Otherwise, you're just keeping both President Zelensky on a leash, just as you're doing President Adams, There's the same parallel between the two.
That's right. I agree. Let's take our break. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. I've had a week with bookends of sadness for me. On Monday, I believe, we got word of the passing of Roberta Flack. And Roberta Flack, many of you that's been members of NAN for years, she supported this organization. I first met Roberta Flack when I was about 12 years old. And I had just joined the Brooklyn chapter of Operation Breadbasket. And we had a rally at Bethany Baptist Church. And I was seated on the side in the front because was getting ready to make me youth director. And the national director of Breadbasket came that night, Reverend Jesse Jackson. And as he came in, he had this lady sitting next to me, and it was Roberta Flack. And I couldn't believe I was sitting there. He told, don't let nobody bother, tell us your sister. I said, everybody in Brooklyn know my sister. But we bonded from there on, and down through the years, she loved to tell Dominique and Ashley how she knew me when I was a little boy. She'd come and host Kathy's birthdays at Canaan. And it's one of the things that I really appreciated about her. She had her own way of doing music. And, you know, when you are self-confident, you don't have to imitate everybody else. You do things your way. And she did not try to do what other female R&B, they called it at that time. You gotta remember, she became big in the 70s. And the 70s rhythm and blues was hardcore. This is before rap. But she came with this smooth kind of soul that people thought at the record company, that's not gonna sell. And she made hits when it wasn't fashionable and could play a piano. Give a big hand to Roberta Flack. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Don't forget, tomorrow, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Among my guests tomorrow night will be Congressman Al Green. And then on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be live from Selma, Alabama, and we'll talk about voting rights with some of the members of Congress and some of our leading activists, as well as some of the foot soldiers that are still alive that marched across that bridge in 1965. Also, you that are in the New York area, I will be at the House of Justice in the morning for the Saturday rally. Don't say I heard Rev's going to Selma. I am going late tomorrow night. I'm doing my show, and I'll be at the rally. Meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And then don't you let the weekend go by if you've not registered for the National Action Network Convention. And we got a lot coming at you. I've just teased a little bit but it is the 2nd through the 5th of April. If you can't do every day, do one day. And I'm going to release the whole schedule probably this week coming, at the end of the week. But I can tell you that Stacey Abrams is one of the speakers, and Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, and we're honoring Patti LaBelle, and Attorney Ben Crump will lead one of the workshops, and Tatiana Ali from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air be at our women's luncheon. So I'm just giving you a teaser. A lot more coming, because it's substance. This ain't stargazing convention. This is substance. And we coming out of there with our national plan on DEI and boycotts and the like. So you need to be part of it. Dr. Williams, what's going on in Detroit National Action Network?
You can join us tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Roberta Flack, great artist, will be Monday. That's why I'm coming right back from Selma. I'm doing the eulogy. It will be 4 p.m. At the Abyssinian Baptist Church, 138th and 7th, where Adam Clayton Powell and his father used to pastor when I was growing up. And then the funeral for NAACP stalwart Hazel Dukes will be on Wednesday morning at 10:30 at the Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, where Reverend Malcolm Bird, who is also Chief Operating Officer of National Action Network, he's the pastor. All right, let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Raymond in Milwaukee, WNOV. Raymond?
Yeah, Reverend Sharpton?
Yeah.
Reverend Williams? First of all, let me start by saying it's a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to speak to both of you. It's an honor. I'm just so excited to be on the phone with you. It's first time caller, long time listener. Yeah, I just want real fast. I just wanted to piggyback on a call that you had a minute ago. He was talking about there's a Supreme Court race in Wisconsin on April 1st with a lady by the name of Susan Crawford going against the Trump supporter Brad Schimmel. I'm out canvassing. I'm out knocking on doors. I'm trying to get people involved and inspired. And I just wanted to let you guys know over your air, keep bringing this up. The people that listen in here in Milwaukee and throughout the state, that this race is vitally important, as you know, and just stay engaged, stay empowered, stay prayed up. I'm just so overjoyed to speak with you, Reverend. It's just you and Reverend Williams are such champions of our cause and in our communities, and I love you both dearly, and I thank you for taking my call. Thank you so much, and pray for me. And
I got you, Raymond. I got you. Go and do that work. Get that judge in there. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Fred in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, WNOV. Fred.
Hey, Reverend Al, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey, so a lot of people from Milwaukee already called about the state Supreme Court election, but my question or comment first, and then I have a couple of questions. My first comment, I was raised in church. My mother raised in the AME church. My grandmother was Pentecostal. And my understanding is God created the heaven and the earth. And so when these others talk about we turned our back on God, is there a border that God doesn't cross, like, the American-Mexican border or other countries where, it's like these comments they make, and, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. They show love, compassion for their fellow mankind. So that just irritates me when they make these comments to turn their back. No, they turned their back on humanity, treating people right, and doing the things of that. And then some of the things that people already comment, but I had a question. As far as the convention, for those that can't make it, one, is there going to be any live streaming of the speakers or rebroadcast of the speakers? And then my second question, I'll let you go. Is there any future plan for regional conferences where they're closer, where people are able to make it?
I can tell you that this year, because we're coming out boycotting the company, that is going to be some regional conferences and rallies. I'm going to tour about 10 states right after the conference through the summer. And in terms of, we will, after the convention, play some of the parts of the speeches, but not the whole convention, because for the people that came, it wouldn't be fair if they could have stayed home and watched the same thing. But we may give a clip or two of some of what happens at the convention. But thank you for your call. Let me go to one of the most extraordinary grassroots organizers in the country, the president of the Greater Cleveland Chapter National Action Network, Marcia McCoy. Marcia.
Thank you so much, Reverend. For the record, if it weren't for civil rights, there would be no civil rights for people of color. I want to thank you very quickly for forging ahead to do the research and formulating a well-thought-out plan prior to any boycott. I want to hurry up and turn it over to the bishop, but we do have a primary, mayor, judge, city council coming up on September the 9th. Come on, Bishop.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hold my mule, my brother.
I got you, Reverend.
It has taken this wannabe dictator Donald Trump less than 6 weeks to make America less great and almost irrelevant to national and international activity, with no concern to the economy, which he campaigned on. He only cares about himself and has no regrets and regards for the poor and the needy. This statistic liar fires tens of thousands of government workers, asserting corruption with no proof whatsoever. This notorious liar, along with his racist sidekick, Elon Musk, is doing more damage to democracy than we could ever possibly conceive. One of the multitudinous lies that he has articulated is that $100 million to Gaza for condoms to Hamas, no proof. He cuts medicine to children in impoverished nations because of a lie, no proof. His funding freeze, frenzy, has left thousands of low-income families at risk of losing their child care right here in America. With 40,000 civilians being killed today and 10 million having lost their homes, this Putin puppet lied about Russia invading Ukraine on February 24th. He did a switcheroo and tells the world that the Ukraine should never have started the war with Russia. He then tries to execute a peace deal with Ukraine President Zelensky by attempting to borrow money from their mineral wealth, but he ends the deal and ushers him out of his Oval Office. What a con man. When inundated with calls about his falsity, he then does another switcheroo. 7 days later, he does a reversal of his lie, admitting that Russia did invade Ukraine first. 10 days after being inaugurated, the devastating plane crash on the Potomac took 67 lives. But before the recovery, the investigation was complete. He said publicly that DEI, Presidents Obama and Biden and the Democrats' diversity programs were responsible for the crash. No proof, just racist propaganda. Andy Jackson racist deal, confronted the Union after the Civil War. This reprobate in chief, pardon the January 6th treasonous rioters of the Capitol building. This fabricator in chief said that the rally was assaulted by our government. Liar. Andrew Jackson, who succeeded Abraham Lincoln, is now hanging in the Oval Office. Theodore Roosevelt has been taken down. Never has the United States been
Sir, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Gotta go.
and with this wannabe dictator in the White House. Let us all come together. And join the
Bishop,
National
gotta
Action
go.
Network.
We got to go, Bishop. Thank you for your call. Thank you, Reverend Williams. Thank you, Marcia McCoy. Let me thank everybody that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do all weekend long, keep it real. I'll talk to you Monday.